For the first question, we need to get the price based on our product name. For this, we will use VLOOKUP function. This will be our lookup value. This will be our lookup array. We want the second column and an exact match. Now we also need to make sure that only listed products are allowed in this cell. For that, we will click on the data tab. We will click on data validation. We will select list and the source will be this product list. And now we only see the listed products and the values are changing when we select different products. For the second question, we have to return the quantity sold for the product 5 in the month March. We will write HLOOKUP. March will be our lookup value. We want to look it up in this array. Now we want to return the value for product 5, which is in the 6th row of this dataset. We can also make this dynamic using our match function. But for now, let's keep it simple and we will hard code it and we will select false for an exact match. Now we will make it dynamic using index and match. So we will write index and this will be our range. Our row number will be decided on the basis of product name. So we will write match. Product 5 will be our lookup value. We will search it in this range and we will select an exact match. To make the column dynamic, we will use another match function. Month will be our lookup value and this will be our lookup array. And we want an exact match again. And now our function is completely dynamic. If we change our product name or month, the quantity is changing accordingly. For the next one, we will be using name manager and offset to make our range dynamic. Let's write the offset function first for our product data. We will write offset. The first cell will be our reference and we will make it absolute. We want to start from our data, so we will ignore the headers. For that, we will specify one as row. We want to start from the first column itself, so we will specify 0 as column. And to make our height and width dynamic, we will use the COUNTIF function. We will select the first column and we will subtract -1 to get the rows which contains the actual data. For the column, we will again use COUNTIF function and this time on our first row, and we will make this part absolute so that it always checks for the number of columns from the first row itself, and our range is now dynamic. Let's copy this formula. We will go to our name manager. We will click on formula tab, define name, and we will give it a name, product data. The workbook scope is fine. We will remove everything from here and we will paste the formula we wrote, and now we are good. Let's plug this into our VLOOKUP formula. We will write VLOOKUP. This will be our lookup value. For our lookup array, we will select the product data range and we want to return 2 columns. So we will select 2 and 3 in curly brackets and false for an exact match. This gives us what we were looking for. We can make our other range dynamic as well using the same method. For employee, I've already done it with the name employee data. And now we can write VLOOKUP again. This will be our lookup value. We will use the range employee data, second and false. If you have not watched the earlier videos of this section, please watch them. All this should become really easy. For the next one, we have to display the tax bracket on the basis of the income of a person. Let's do it using VLOOKUP first. We will write VLOOKUP. This will be our lookup value. This will be our lookup array. We want the second column. And now, instead of selecting an exact match, we will select an approximate match and we will get what we were looking for. Now we can do this using index match as well. For that, we will write match This will be our lookup value. This will be our lookup array, and we will select 1 for less than or equal to option. Now we know the position which we want to return. We will plug this in our index function and we will get what we are looking for. We can also use XLOOKUP to solve this. This will be our lookup value. This will be our lookup array. Tax bracket values will be our return array. Let's write not found as the fourth parameter. And the important one, we have to select -1 here for less than equal to, and we are good. For the next one, we have to get the product ID on the basis of product name. Now since product ID is on the left side of the product name, we cannot use VLOOKUP, but we can use index match and XLOOKUP. For index match, we will look up for our match in product name. This will be our lookup value. Product name will be our lookup array and 0 for an exact match. Now we will plug this in our index function and we will get what we were looking for. We can easily do this using XLOOKUP as well. We know the lookup value, lookup array and return array. We just have to use product not found as the fourth parameter, so that in case if the value is not found, it returns the text instead of the default Excel error. For the next one, we want to return the last match in case if we have multiple matches for a person. Here we have multiple matches for the ID 1, so we should return the fifth row instead of the first one. We will use XLOOKUP function to do this. So this will be our lookup value. ID will be our lookup array. We want to return both name and salary, so that will form our return array. Employee not found is what will be returned in case if the ID is not matched. We will select 0 for an exact match, and now we will select -1 so that it searches from last to first, and we are getting what we were looking for. In case of multiple matches, we cannot return multiple result using our lookup functions, but we will be using a dynamic array function filter to return multiple matches, and we will see that in the next section. For the next question, we have to return the start date and end date by matching ID, name and department. We will use XLOOKUP for this. You can also do this using index and match. For our lookup value in XLOOKUP, we are going to concatenate these three values, ID, name and department. Similarly, for our lookup array, we are going to concatenate these three columns again, ID, name and department using the AND operator. And then we will select start date and end date as our return array, and we get what we were looking for. Try solving this using index match as well. For the final one, we have to do a wildcard search and we have to select the last matching value. We can do this using XLOOKUP, or we can pair our index function with XMatch to do this. Let's discuss both the options. So we will write XMatch. J star will be our lookup value. We will look it up in the name, and then we will select 2 for a wildcard search match, and finally we will select -1 so that it searches from last to first. Now we know the position of the value we want to return. We can simply plug this in our index function and we will get what we were looking for. Solving this with XLOOKUP is even easier. We will select J star as our lookup value. We will select name as our lookup array. Salary will be our return array. For the fourth option, we will specify not found. And for the fifth one, we will select 2 for wildcard search. And finally, we will again select -1 so that it searches from last to first, and we get what we were looking for. Hopefully you are able to solve all these scenarios on your own. If you still need any clarifications, please post them in the comments section and I will try to help.